Ah, Zaldin, a country ruled by industry and secrecy. Now home to some of the most ingenious minds of the modern age. A place where talented and ambitious people can build themselves from the ground up and make their mark on the world. This is the setting of our story. This is where the journey begins. Our tale starts, as many often do, with a dream. A tiefling's dream to one day create a ship that sailors could use to travel the open ocean without fear. This man had spent his life raising a family, hardly finding any time for himself. But now he had the time to pursue his dreams. This man's name was Balon, father and respected engineer and craftsman, with a passion for sea travel and shipmaking. Though he knew that Omire did not take kindly to his tiefling blood, he was determined to overcome any hardship that came his way. Though if I'm being honest, the story isn't his alone. It's more about his entire family. Or more specifically, it's mostly about his kids. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So, the mother is Leona Baptiste, a renowned scholar in the study of the arcane. She and her daughter were content living in the southern kingdom of Ramel, but Balon's passion could not be quelled, even with Leona's constant objections. After years of discussion and debate, she finally agreed to follow her beloved husband to Omire, and to continue her own work alongside him. Balon had 2 biological kids, twins, Philia and Felix Pasova. They feared for his well-being, going to such a racially divided place as Zaldin. So they came with him to help with the first few months. The transition period, if you will. They both inherited the mischievous nature of Balon's tiefling blood. With mischief in their hearts, respect for their stepfamily in their minds, and love for their father in the forefront, they left their lives behind to make sure that he would survive in this urban hellscape of a city. Balon's adopted son, Ortune, was the black sheep of the family. He had been adopted by Balon in his younger years, and Ortune was grateful for it. He was on the brink of death when Balon found him. But through hard work and a kind heart, Balon saved Ortune's life. And though Ortune is alive, he is still haunted by the dark voices of his past. Voices that provide twisted comfort and even darker powers. Now, he's left his life behind to start again, alongside his adopted father. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, Balon's stepdaughter, Claire, the biological child of Leona. A troublemaker through and through. Being the product of a high-born noble and a lowly street rat, Claire inherited some unique characteristics. Both the high-born, refined nature of her mother, mixed with the devious thick-headedness of her father. Claire had a very particular set of tastes, and these tastes involved preferring victory over honor. Because of her very peculiar set of skills, Claire never really got along with the nobles that constantly surrounded her mom. Yet, despite all of that, Leona continued to be there for her and love her unconditionally. And she still doesn't know that Claire never graduated from the school that she was supposed to be studying at. Once Leona asked Claire to help with the move, Claire reluctantly agreed, and left her secret life for what she thought was going to be a very temporary amount of time behind her. These are the unknowing stars of what is to turn into a bloody and unkind tale. After a long train ride to Omire, the siblings came upon a wanted poster, declaring that a large reward would be given to anyone who provided information on some local troublemakers, the Water Rats. Seeing an opportunity for easy coin, the party left in search of this gang, Carefree and unaware of the severity of this situation, the party investigated a local tavern and were promptly attacked. After killing 2 people in self-defense, they interrogated a third, who spoke in an odd encrypted language. A language that Claire understood. The man gave the siblings a letter, addressed to one Lorenzo, and signed BL. Of course, the law eventually caught up with them, and they were quickly arrested for murder. Well, everyone except for Ortune, who was away at the time. The captain of the guard, and a key player in our story, Marcus Dargan, interrogated them, realized that Claire could speak the water rat's cryptic language, and offered them a deal. In exchange for them spying on the water rats in an upcoming meeting, all the charges would be dropped. The siblings agreed, and began inquiring with locals where this gathering might be. But the water rats have eyes and ears everywhere, and noticed the siblings' investigation. At the gathering, they were ambushed, and came face to face with the supposed leader of this gang, Olag. He captured the siblings, taunted them, and ultimately gave them a deadly and cruel ultimatum. One of them would need to choose the knife or the gun. While deriving some sick pleasure from his power over the siblings, Olag gave the choice to Felix, who decided that a single bullet in a 6-chambered gun was statistically less likely to kill him than a 50-50 chance on a poisoned knife. But sadly, it wasn't enough. As Claire and Philia watched, with one final snarky remark to Olag, Felix turned the gun to his own forehead and fired, putting an end to his life. Claire and Philia were then locked away in a dark cell and transported to a cave outside the city on the Zaldanian Gulf. In the darkness of that cave, Claire was tortured mercilessly by a water rat drow woman named Aluma. Yet even in that time of eternal darkness, there was a spark of light. She befriended a Yonteen named Lorenzo, who shared a cell wall with her. He told her stories of the high seas and swashbuckling adventures, and, ultimately, taught her the style of swordplay that she still uses today. After months of incarceration and torture, memories of Claire's life before her capture began to fade. But not before Ortune appeared outside of her cell, offering a swift rescue. Ortune had been spending the past few months building an intelligence network, working independently, but also alongside Balon and Leona, all with the ultimate goal to locate and save Claire and Philia. Sadly, under mysterious circumstances, Balon and Leona had suddenly forgotten all about Felix. After Claire and Philia were located, Ortune contacted a colleague of Leona's to teleport him inside. And after a few encounters, some looting, and a very large explosion, the siblings finally escaped the prison. Months passed, and Philia promptly left the city after being freed. Having lost her brother, she could not stand the sight of the city any longer. Claire was hell-bent on vengeance for the agony that she went through, spending the next few months hunting down Aluma, going so far as to reconnect with a mercenary friend of hers, Jane. Together, they hunted Aluma, taking lead after lead, running into dead end after dead end. Eventually, they knew that they had to rely on a source that they had been reluctant to use all this time. The guard captain that started all this, Marcus. He agreed to help them on 2 conditions. 1, that they do another favor for him. And 2, that they not tell anyone who they got this information from, lest his reputation be ruined. Marcus told them that apparently Aluma was going to assassinate a local noblewoman, a woman by the name of Lady Christine Velon, at a party. Marcus arranged for them to get invitations and sent them to stop the assassination. They dressed up and went, in the high hopes that Aluma would show herself and give Claire the opportunity to end her miserable life. When they arrived, they instantly made a scene with the bouncers, and were later awkwardly greeted by Leona, who apparently had been invited to this gathering as well. They mingled, and the party went on as normal, until a toast was raised, where the lady of the hour raised a glass and consumed the last drink that she would ever have. But, finally, this had provided Claire and Jane with the opportunity that they had been waiting for. A chance for Claire to finally take her vengeance. Claire and Jane cornered Aluma in an alley and showed her no mercy. Leona saw the aftermath of the murder and interrogated Claire, eventually getting her to reveal that Marcus was the one that gave them the information. In response to being betrayed, Marcus promptly arrested Leona and falsely accused her of Lady Christine's murder to protect his reputation. After Leona's arrest, he used his connections with the guard to attempt to get Claire and Jane arrested as well, who took it upon themselves to clear Leona's name. However, in their investigation, it was revealed by a guard, 2nd Lieutenant Chloe Potia, that the captain intended on executing Leona before their investigation could get too far out of hand. So instead of making a case for Leona, the party decided to break her out of prison. The most secure prison in the known world, the Reaper's Keep. While planning this prison break, Claire sought out her old mentor Lorenzo, who offered a coin that would reveal a hideout that Claire and her mother could use after the prison break. All this in exchange for the promise that Claire would help Lorenzo get his ship back when the time came. Jane asked for assistance from an old friend, a spellcaster by the name of Dorcadas, who apparently knew the warden of the prison. And lastly, Ortune would personally lend his hand to the prison break, providing any resources that he could. After some brilliant preparation and a perfect execution, the party broke into the prison, found Leona, and with the aid of a prisoner that had been there for countless years, an elf by the name of Arahid, the party broke Leona out. Months later, the party's faces were plastered on every street corner of the city, and everyone knew their name, as well as the bounty associated with it. Unable to leave Omire due to a strict perimeter placed around the city limits, the party could not run. In light of the massive manhunt occurring, the party decided to go their separate ways. The city is now on the brink of collapse. Marcus hunts Leona relentlessly. What happens next has yet to be written.